Daily Detroit is brought to you by the community. Support our work at patreon.com/dailydetroit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan, coming to you from our beautiful studio, Tech Town. It is Monday, September 15th, 2025. I am Jer Stays. We've got some stories to talk about, the Lions, of course, to talk about. But first, before we get started, I wanted to acknowledge about that we got word about plans to demolish the well-known glass house built in 1949 that has served as Ford Motor Company's headquarters in Dearborn. They're going to centralize a lot of their work at this new building that's across from the Henry Ford and Greenfield Village. We will talk about it tomorrow with Devin O'Reilly because I figured he's Mr. Dearborn. He's been there, his whole life. He's been tied into the business community, tied into the regional business community. So I think he's the right person to talk about it. We will get into that impact tomorrow. Today, we have our friend Fletcher Sharp. We're going to get into some car talk of our own, get into a gaming lounge coming to Metro Airport, and then get into the Lions. Fletcher Sharp, what say you?
I mean, I've never really been inside of there. I don't think I have the clearance to ever be inside of there. But just driving by and seeing the building, like it's an iconic building. You see it and you're like, that's the glass house. And it's very much apt on its name. It looks like a bunch of just panes of glass, with obviously the front door. So for it to no longer, be what it's going to be, and even at that point even exist, is kind of, you feel yourself getting a little older.
In that old phone. They've been trying to separate us so long, but I want you in my life, can do it so long.
All right, the Detroit Auto Show has confirmed 4 major automakers for the next event in January of 2026. Ford, General Motors, Stellantis, and Toyota will headline the long-running show. The Detroit Auto Dealers Association said the 2025 show generated as much as $370 million in economic impact and had over 100,000 test drives. Back will be popular attractions like Racing Day in partnership with the Chevy Detroit Grand Prix and the Gallery showcasing luxury and exotic vehicles. That is something that I checked out myself last year. The event will kick off with Media and Industry Days on January 14th and 15th, followed by the Charity Preview on January 16th, and the public show running January 17th through the 25th. Organizers say more brands and stuff to do will be announced in the coming months. I know, Fletcher Sharp, you wanted to talk about this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for anything that is going to bring back the spark to the auto show. Like, I know, obviously, they've been getting a bit better and trying to get more towards the international and local level of that in that regard. But yeah, I'm all for anything that kind of makes people want to get back to the auto show. When I was younger growing up, I'm sure a lot of people feel the way I might feel. The auto show was like one of the peak events for downtown to go do something. And as you kind of got a little bit older, it still was pretty cool, but it kind of got more pushed towards the background a little bit. So anything that's going to help bring it more to the foreground is one of Detroit's biggest tourist events. I'm all for that 100%.
I was really high on the idea of moving it to warmer times of year, but it really felt like people have it in their mind about when the auto show is, and also that escapism and helping out those restaurants. One of the reasons why Detroit doesn't really have a restaurant week like other places, a lot of the places in the past would get booked up to the point where there would be no room for anyone else. I remember auto shows past that I would cover, and every single table in town would be taken by something. And I don't know if that's going to be the case with this reformulated auto show, but it really was a really big economic driver for hospitality, and it still is. I mean, you're not going to be able to get a hotel room.
I'm happy for that. I mean, would I like for it to be more consistent? For sure. But for the big events like the auto show or like, say, the draft coming back or something like that, I am all for it because it does show that people do actually want to come to the city and explore and do things. It's not just people talking, it's actually people wanting to come and explore one of, I don't want to say the crown jewels, but one of the more Detroit-centric events, and anything that helps the city grow, I am all for.
Well, if you're traveling through Detroit Metro Airport anytime soon, a company called Gameway has just opened a new gaming lounge in the McNamara terminal, bringing Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and retro gaming to travelers. Founded by Emma and Jordan Walbridge in 2017, these gaming hubs let you pick up where you left off on your favorite games or try something new while waiting for your flight. You can even log into your personal gaming accounts to continue your progress. Prices run from about $18 for a half hour to $46 for a full day pass. Beer and snacks are also available. There are 8 Gameway lounges in the U.S., with 2 additional new ones opening at Chicago's Midway and JFK in New York. So the next time your flight gets delayed, you might actually be hoping for a little extra time. You can find it between gate A63 and A65. Fletcher, I have to ask you, what do you think is the perfect game to play in this kind of situation?
Oh, you need an RPG or something. Like, I mean, I'm going to date myself here. They did a re-release for it, but, you know, something like a Final Fantasy game. Like, if you were playing Final Fantasy VII, the original one, on PS1, this would be a perfect type of game to play because, you know, you get past the first boss or two, your flight comes in, you're like, all right, gotta go. You land on your next place. Maybe say you have a connecting flight. You're going to be there for 2 hours. You get a day pass, you know, if you're balling like that, you know, want to drop $46, $47, get a day pass, go to the next hub, and it's like, cool. All right, I've beat boss 2. Let me get back and get these extra little things I need for the next level. So like something like an RPG, I mean, if you're really a sports guy, you can maybe play Madden or 2K or something, but that's just, to me, that's strange. Who'd want to pick up something like that? You need a game that has a story. And well, you know, I couldn't do this if I were younger because I for sure would miss a flight. I would delay seeing grandma for like 8 hours to finish a game. I'm not above admitting that. So
see, this is why I got to be careful about what I pick because I would do the same thing with like Civ. I'm an addict to those strategy games. So I would just sit there and I'd be like, oh, I paid for a day pass. I'm just going to spend the whole time here and I'll catch the flight tomorrow.
You mentioned it's in a few airports now. Like whatever I'm traveling doesn't have one. If I'm going to like Chicago, going to McNamara, for sure. Like I can fly there and finish and maybe get an Uber when I want to leave or something like that. But if I'm going, say, to New Jersey or somewhere, they don't have a Gameway there. All right, well, this is more important. Grandma can wait. I'll see you tomorrow, Grandma. But like this boss, I got it down to this last health bar. I need to do this right now. You know, she have to understand, you know, does she want me to beat Sephiroth or not? Does she love me enough to actually understand my hopes and dreams of beating all the Final Fantasy games? Or is she just, it's holiday, come say hi. Like I can get these Christmas cookies whenever. I can't do all this right now. Like this is a once in a lifetime moment, Grandma. You got to understand.
See, for me, the responsible pick would be something like Street Fighter, where I can play and then drop out whenever I need to.
For sure. And I mean, that's a responsible adult answer. Get a few Hadoukens, get a few, you know, spinning kicks, some lightning kicks, and get out of there. Me, it's like I would get engrossed in a game and then not look up. And it's like, oh, my flight left an hour ago. That's okay. I still got like 6 more hours on this day pass. So yeah, I think hopefully people game responsibly, which is something that everyone says you should definitely do. But I think it's a good idea. I think reasonably enough price to where you're not going to have someone in there just like buying a day pass every single moment. But like priced enough to where you'll get people who actually want to come in and do stuff and hang out. And I don't know, just maybe get some downtime. Maybe you didn't bring your phone. Maybe you didn't bring a book. But you have your credit card. You want to hop in there, play a little bit of a game, and then go about your day wherever you're going.
Well, as always, feedback dailydetroit@gmail.com. All right, let's talk Lions. This was fun to watch, Fletcher Sharp, and I have just one question for you after this 52-21 demolition of the Chicago Bears. Do you feel better now?
Yes and no. I feel better from the standpoint that the Lions offense figured it out, and that was really the biggest issue from week 1. The defense was playing as well as they could. They weren't getting pressure, but they were still doing the best they could against a quality quarterback in Jordan Love. And one of the worries was if the offense doesn't figure it out this week with the guy who apparently invented the Lions offense, are they in trouble? And they very much pulled a B2A, which I'll let you guys Google for what that stands for. But very much put their foot down and said, this is not a Ben Johnson offense. This is the Detroit Lions. We do this. And it looked very good to see Jameson Williams get open. It looked great to see Amon-Ra finally get free. It looked great to see the running backs get going together. Didn't look great to see Goff jump in the stands because he has a negative vert at 6'5". That is honestly impressive. But outside of that, it was a really good game to watch, especially if you were a Lions fan. I don't want to put any fear in anyone's heart, but next week they have the Baltimore Ravens, and Lamar Jackson is really, really good. And even if you're a new Lions fan, which means you probably joined the last 2 to 3 years, you remember exactly what he did to the Lions 2 years ago, and that's terrifying. Their offense is even better. They have Derrick Henry. They have Nuke outside at receiver. They have the weapons to put a hurting on, so they're going to need to score points with them because the defense is going to have a long day.
I personally loved seeing them kind of clown their former offensive coordinator running that fake play after scoring a touchdown. That was pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's one of those where like you could see that the passion is back. I mean, even the defense got a few takeaways, which week 1 they did not. Kirby Joseph got an interception. Brian Branch helped force a fumble, and just you could tell the energy was kind of back. And it also kind of puts in perspective how good the Packers could be this year, because the Packers went and beat the Commanders this week as well in a pretty decent fashion. So the rematch between the Packers and Lions later this year is going to could be fireworks. Hopefully they figure out their issues and make the game closer, but not looking too far ahead. Again, great win for them to go 1-1, be tied with the Vikings in their division, above the Bears, only looking up at the Packers, who they can catch. Just this next week coming up is going to be tough because Baltimore is a very good team, disciplined team, and they will hit you very hard.
All right, let's talk about that Baltimore Ravens game, because what are the Lions going to need to do to get it done?
Hope and pray to start. But in all seriousness, contain Lamar Jackson. He should have been 3-time MVP last year. They gave Josh Allen the MVP. Very good year himself, but Lamar, I think, was better personally. Contain Lamar Jackson. Used to be the MO, make him beat you throwing. He can beat you throwing. So it's really contain him, and you'd rather him beat you from the pocket than him beat you running. Because if he's beating you running, that means later on he can throw. If he's beating you throwing early, then what can you do at that point? You have Derrick Henry again. The number one currently running duo in the NFL is Derrick Henry at running back and Lamar Jackson at quarterback for the Ravens. And again, the MO used to be make him throw the ball. He can't throw. Lamar can throw. It's the reason why he's potentially could be 3 MVPs in 4 years. He can throw. I think probably the best quarterback overall in this league, running, throwing, leadership, etc. So contain him the best you can. Limit the run game. If he throws for 400 yards, he throws for 400 yards. But don't let him throw for 280, 290 and run for 120 because it's going to be a very long day for the defense.
Yeah, looking at the odds, the spread has the Ravens with 6. Well, how are you feeling about that?
I might take the over. I don't really like to bet against Detroit teams, but I might take the over there.
Like, you're not feeling good about getting into this game next week.
So when we did the preseason talk, and I'm like, I see the Lions losing 3 games. This was one of them. This is one where I was like, oh yeah, no. If they keep this game close and like the Ravens win, that's a win in my book. If they beat the Ravens, that's an upset. As much as people love the Lions, that's very much an upset. But no, the Lions struggle with mobile quarterbacks. They struggle with people who can throw on the run. We saw with Josh Allen last year. We saw with Jordan Love earlier this year. And Lamar Jackson is someone who can very much throw on the run. Throw and or run. Yikes. It's a terrible matchup for this team.
It sounds like the Lions are missing a piece.
They are, and he is currently making plays for the Philadelphia Eagles and Zadarius Smith with his sack against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Seeing his little iconic crawling celebration, I was like, man.
So you think they messed up in letting him go?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that he would be like a game changer, but I know Aiden Hutchinson's coming off a broken leg, and people are like, typically come back from injury. It's like, well, we don't know how good he is yet. You saw it against the Packers. You saw it against the Bears. They were double teaming him as much as they can. So whether they think he's healthy or not, they're like, you are not going to influence this game. So having someone competent on the other side to make them have to shift their offensive line would help a lot. Now, Aiden did get a sack against the Bears, and that's great. But they need some more pressure. Like, he can't be the only one applying pressure all the time, because then quarterbacks have all the time to throw. And if you have a quarterback who's decent with all the time to throw, they might beat you up. Caleb Williams did not do that. But someone like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Herbert for the Chargers, it's basically saying, please beat us by 50 points. Like, we're not going to put pressure. Please just beat us over the head, touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. So they have to generate pressure against that defense. Offensively, the Ravens have a really solid offense. Don't turn the ball over. It's going to be hard to score with them. Maybe you don't score every single time, but don't turn the ball over. No turnovers, and you're half of the field, and they get the ball at the 30-yard line. If they're going to score on you, make them go 70, 80 yards. Don't let them go 30 or 40 because you fumbled the ball, and now they're about to score, because the game's going to get very long. It's going to be the opposite of what this week was.
Well, I would love to hear people's thoughts. dailydetroit@gmail.com or 313-789-3211. I'm going to keep the hope alive, Fletcher Sharp.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying people should definitely put the hope out. The Lions are a competent team, for sure. It's just, if we're using past history, and not like the same old Lions past history, but like recent Lions, good Lions past history, they struggle with mobile quarterbacks, and the last time they played against Lamar Jackson, he put up a tremendous fantasy football day. So hopefully they can change some things about that. But if not, they might be 1-2 going into week 4.
This is where great people, like where you start to see them when it's in these really challenging situations.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenging situation is definitely an understatement.
All right. Well, that is it for today. Thank you so much, Fletcher Sharp. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much to our members on Patreon, patreon.com/dailydetroit. Local media needs local support to survive. We will be talking about the Glass House, Ford's headquarters, and their headquarter move tomorrow with Devin O'Reilly. We're also going to get into some history. I'm lining up some interviews. I know people really like building history, architectural history. I think we're going to talk about that as well. Also, coming up this week, the opening of the Apple Store in downtown Detroit. We're going to have some cool content around that coming up. So with that, I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Fletcher Sharp.
Remember that you are somebody, and we'll see you around Detroit.